one another.
There has to be an answer. You heard that all communications are ended outside the continental limits?
Yes, I heard.
That leaves it in our laps.
World. An empty, dead, silent world.
Splendid isolation. I don't need no one. Splendid isolation.
Hello, pod friends. Well, isn't this a surprise? It's a What the Hell Were You Thinking special edition. But it's not a special edition because I'm planning on doing a bunch of these just whenever the mood strikes me or whenever I start to day drink, which I'm doing today, about, life in these United States here in coronavirus Grand Central New York City, where I am fucking terrified. And if you're not terrified, well, good for you. And also, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because this shit is scary. I was saying the other day that I've lived through, I was the last generation to grow up in the crosshairs of a nuclear warhead. I was a bomb dog handler. I went looking for bombs during the peak of the Unabombers. And then, I was a cop in D.C. during 9/11, the anthrax thing that was going on. And that was a big thing because I worked at a university, and every time a package came in, someone called the fucking dumb cop to come open it up because, our lives were expendable. And then I was also a DC cop, a university cop in DC during the DC snipers because, they were just going to put us out there to apparently catch bullets so rich kids didn't fucking die. But so I've lived through some shit. And I'm not trying to make light of of all of that, but I'm more scared now than I ever was during any of that. And that's probably because I was in my 20s and early 30s and was still immortal. But now in my 50s, I discovered that I could die from this shit, and I'm not really, really too keen with it. And
that's why you have to stay inside.
So you don't give me your nasty ass fucking germs. I am happy to report that I am healthy, as healthy as I ever get. Gavin is healthy. He is social distancing somewhere that Gavin... I don't really know what Gavin does when he's not at the studio. And we're clearly not at the studio because Fast Eddie has closed the car lot. Apparently selling shitty used cars to mobsters in Queens is not an essential business. Who knew?
Pretty much everyone.
These shows are going to be a little different. First of all, they're not scripted. So they're going to suck that much more because if you thought my show sucked when I did write a script, my just riffing is actually going to suck a whole lot more. There's a reason why I am not a stand-up comedian or never done improv. I'm a writer, and generally when I sit down and write out what the fuck I'm going to say, before I say it, it sounds a hell of a lot better than if I just try to say it. But through the miracle of editing, it will suck 3 or 4% less. 3 or 4%, like the number of percentage of Americans that the Republicans are willing to let die so that billionaires can keep fucking having their yachts.
That's how it's going to be, is it?
And the reason I'm doing these shows like this instead of incorporating them into the weekly shows was because the weekly shows are going to turn away from all the fucking constant drumbeat of death that is, life in March of 2020, and to focus on a more happy and simpler time in which, Satanistic cults that didn't actually exist were abducting, raping, and murdering children. That's just kind of the creative direction I'm looking to take the regular podcast. But there's still shit going on, and I've got shit to say about it. Things like, this.
No one reached out to me and said, as a senior citizen, are you willing to take a chance on your survival in exchange for keeping the America that all America loves for your children and grandchildren? And if that's the exchange, I'm all in. My message is that let's get back to work. Let's get back to living. Let's be smart about it. And those of us who are 70 plus, we'll take care of ourselves, but don't sacrifice the country.
That was Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick on Fox News fuckwit Tucker Carlson, who, I have to say, was wearing a expression that I guess if any human being, I would consider shock and dismay. Because here was literally the lieutenant governor of the second largest state in the union saying, yeah, we can just kill the old people. It'll be fine. Just so long as the stock market stays up, we'll kill everybody over 70. Now, I haven't checked with my own parents, which are Trump Americans, on their feelings about this. But we've been in some communication over the past few weeks, and they seem to be taking reasonable precautions against what they clearly understand is a deadly disease to someone like them that are in their 70s, or more to the point that to people to like my grandmother who's in her 90s, or my aunt who is younger than they are, but still in a very vulnerable population. And they're not queuing up to be the first ones in the death pools to, kickstart the fucking Dow. I mean, really, is this the plan that the GOP has to offer? We'll just build a big bonfire, and we'll put everyone over 70 on it, light it on fire, and that will be the energy that will restart the economy. Because if that's the case, I've got some names that I would like to suggest to use as fucking kindling for this said fucking bonfire. And of course, the dipshit in chief is freaking the fuck out as he watches the fucking stock market plummet and the economy grind to a halt, and his chances of re-election get smaller and smaller every fucking day. So now he's come up with this fucking great idea that maybe we should just blow off the expertise of everyone with a medical degree and go with Don's fucking gut and restart the economy in, a couple of weeks. Never mind the fact that people will still be dying. More people will be dying then that are dying now. But that's okay because, he's got a real knack for these things. So everything will probably be okay. And what is even more infuriating is that somehow, his fucking approval levels are going up. What the fuck is going on in this country? Has the virus infiltrated the brains of fucking average people? Makes them think that this sycophantic jackass fucking dipshit is somehow doing a good job, who sat on his fucking thumb and stroked his tiny pud for months when this was leading up to this, and now he's like, oh, it's the Chinese virus, and we didn't have any clue. He was right there saying it every fucking Jesus, my blood pressure is going through the fucking roof. And that cannot be good for me in the time of coronavirus.
Take it easy, Dave. Deep breaths.
But there's not a lot we can do about that right now, is there? Sadly, no. I mean, we could have done something about that, I don't know, any time from 2015 up until, I guess, fucking right now, and we could actually remove him from the 25th Amendment. But no one's going to do that because no one has any balls. Oh, God, there are things that I want to say that would get me in trouble, so I'm not going to say. All I'm just saying is, again, if there were a God, which there isn't, and I'm going to give you incontrovertible proof that there is no God, or if there is a God, then he's a prick. Donald Trump has not fucking got this virus yet, and he will never get this virus because there's no God. I mean, any just and kind and loving God would smite his ass immediately with it, but he will never get it and will die, fucking, I don't know, probably 2 years after he's out of office in 2030 from heart disease or Cheeto clogs or fucking choking on a fucking KFC bone. I hate this fucking country right now. I should have fucking left when I had the chance. Of course, no other country really wanted me, and I have no useful or applicable skills that anyone could conceivably let me immigrate to their country for, because let's face it, being a podcast host, that's a dime a fucking dozen. Any country with an overabundance of white dudes has plenty of podcast hosts. All right, wrap up some stuff. Things here in New York City are strange. If you've never been to New York City or never seen a television show with New York City on it, it's a busy place. And now it's not. The streets are empty, with the exception of my neighborhood, which is entirely acting as though nothing the fuck is going on. And that is both good and bad. It's good because people up here do not panic and they take care of themselves. It's bad because eventually this disease is going to reach up here and it is going to fuck some people up. But we've got food in the stores. We've got liquor in the liquor stores. The barber shops did close. I'm a little shocked that happened, but they did close. And all in all, we're safe. The cat pissed on my bed this morning just to remind me that she's not happy with me being here because my cat hates me. My cat hates everything, and she only hates me just a little bit more than she hates everything else. And when you're suffering with social isolation like this, you take what you can get. This is a pointless rant, and I'm just doing it because I was day drinking, and it wanted to make me feel a little better. I will probably do more of them. Maybe I won't. But I did come up with this fucking great Warren Zevon song, which is the show title and the closing music that I really just wanted to do. So here it is. This is Splendid Isolation, episode 1. I'm going to try and write something for the next time I do this, because me and ad-libbing, it's not good. It's not good. And I don't know, maybe if Gavin was here, I could get angry at him and be more clever. Fuck, I miss Gavin.
Support for this podcast comes from Qualcomm Incorporated. As the world's leading wireless technology innovator, Qualcomm brought you 3G, 4G, and 5G, inventing many technologies inside the mobile devices you love. Get an inside look at 5G, a technology that can allow nearly everything and everyone to communicate and interact seamlessly on the Qualcomm Podcast. Dig into the inventions and opportunity of 5G and get a behind-the-scenes look at the future of wireless.
I think it's a privilege, a company like Qualcomm, that we work in telecom, we work in communications, and not only through this pandemic, which is a very difficult situation, but through our history, we have seen how much the technology we work on can actually change society and help.
If you love technology, you'll love the Qualcomm Podcast. Listen to the Qualcomm Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or SoundCloud.
Support for this podcast comes from Goldman Sachs. What do Goldman Sachs experts and leading thinkers have to say about trends shaping markets, industries, and the global economy? Stay informed with the latest insights from Goldman Sachs on the economic and market implications of COVID-19. Available on our podcasts at gs.com/COVID-19 or any of your favorite podcast platforms.
Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and stay isolated. This is me, Dave Bledsoe, host of the What the Hell Are You Thinking podcast for Splendid Isolation, episode 1. Can someone please come up with a cure, because I don't know how much longer I can take this. I like staying inside. I really do, but this sucks. We'll see you all next time. If there is a next time, and I'm not in a hospital on a ventilator.